I'm Michael Chapnick with the APEC Secretariat, here with Satvin Kaur Singh, a researcher with the Policy Support Unit. She's one of the authors who wrote the chapter on the circular economy in the APEC Regional Trends Analysis. Satvin, to get started, can you explain briefly the concept of the circular economy and how it impacts people, businesses, and the environment in which we live and work?
Hi, Michael. Thank you for your question. The circular economy is a system in which resources are used to their maximum extent. In this system, waste and emissions are minimized through long lasting design, good maintenance, and recycling. So instead of disposing of that old laptop, we could use its parts to produce a new laptop or perhaps a computer. Doing so allows us to bring back consumed resources into the production chain. This is important because through good management of resources, we can prevent over extraction and overproduction of goods, both of which result in the release of large amounts of greenhouse gases. Similarly, poor management of waste, especially organic waste, also contributes to climate change through the release of these gases. So, embracing the circular economy is important to tackle the deeply entrenched problem of climate change.
But are we ready to make the shift? Do we have the capability? Are industries able to complete the cycle of the circular economy now?
Oh, it's already going on. It is not uncommon for neighborhoods to have recycling shops or second-hand outlets, or for businesses to be using sustainability as a unique selling point. For example, consider the plant-based meat industry. Circular economy practices have been in place for decades, but most of them are not operating on a large enough scale as yet. This is where international trade comes in. Manufacturing hubs are more capable of utilizing recycled products in production. In the same way, economies that have more technologically savvy industries are better able to repurpose materials. In this way, trading allows everyone to utilize their resources and strengths to contribute towards a more global circular economy. But we do need global leadership on this. The G20 has created a task force to support ongoing discussions on the issue. Efforts like this will help guide transitions. So, yes, we do have the capability to implement the circular economy on a global scale. All it needs is that push.
Could you discuss what's needed to make progress with the circular economy in the Asia Pacific and what's needed to shift to a more sustainable business model? Where do we start?
First, businesses need to embrace the circular economy. They need to rethink the way they use resources. Instead of disconnecting themselves after the sale of the product, businesses need to be held responsible until the end of the product life cycle to make sure that resources are used efficiently. To do this, they need to take into account the use of their product at all points along the supply chain. For example, instead of breaking off all liability after selling a bottle of juice, the business could recollect the old bottles for repackaging. Similarly, an electronic device company could collect old devices and utilize functional parts for remanufacturing. Industrial collaborations can be useful in maintaining an ecosystem in which the waste of one industry can be used as an input in another. Such industrial symbiosis have existed since the 1950s. There are several business models out there that can guide the implementation of the circular economy. Many businesses are already doing it. For example, those in the sharing economy and the zero waste manufacturing industry. But the main change will begin when we start seeing byproducts and waste as a resource.
This seems ambitious and at the same time reasonable, but there are challenges. What kind of policy approach do APEC member economies need to take in order for us to make progress towards a sustainable future?
One of the main challenges of adopting the circular economy is the lack of accepted standards for waste and reusable materials. This can hinder businesses. For example, not knowing the type of plastic to be repurposed can prevent a business from ensuring the quality of its finished product. Another important challenge is that in today's highly globalized supply chains, it is impossible to implement the circular economy in silo. All stakeholders along the supply chain need to support circular practices collectively. APAC provides us with a platform to explore such options for sustainable growth. It brings together economies to discuss best practices and lessons learned to aid the circular transformation. Back in 2012, APEC was successful in developing an environmental goods list. This goes to show that together we can pursue a more sustainable future.
Thank you, Satvin, for joining us and sharing your insight. The APEC Regional Trends Analysis and an associated infographic focused on the circular economy can be found on www.apec.org. For more information or to request an interview, please send a note to media@apec.org. Be well and stay connected.